Hello, everyone. Welcome to another awesome day of FileMaker Training. I'm Richard Carlton, creator of FMTraining.tv, where every day, sun, rain, or shine, we are doing FileMaker training on the Claris FileMaker platform. So very exciting. I continue to be in an undisclosed location. So let's talk about the schedule. So we are at Claris Engage. There's a huge campus in Austin, is apparently where a lot of the yeah, here we are. This is where we're at. So yeah, click on that one there. Yeah. So, that's exactly where we're at. Okay. So top floor, this is a huge campus, and this is where most of Apple's services are based. So when I say services, that means the Apple credit card. When you buy a movie, you buy a TV show, you buy music, any of that services, Apple TV, any of that services related stuff is being kind of managed and driven from Austin. We took it over this building. The problem is they get really excited if you take a photo at all. In fact, they finally got it to the point where we could take photos for personal use, but they normally don't let anyone take pictures inside. It's the same thing with Apple stores. You can take a picture, like if you go to the mall and it's an Apple store, you can take a picture of the store as long as you're in the mall. But if you step inside the premises of the building, the security people jump on you and beat you into submission or whatever. So they're very serious about taking photos. So anyway, so us doing the live stream from there is like a non-starter. Me trying to broadcast from there, not going to happen. So we are working through not custom functions, various functions in the FileMaker platform. Tomorrow, most of the rest of this week is going to be probably Engage related, DEF CON related materials, but I wanted to bring up this one sample file here. And so this sample file, Margaret has found for us. This version of the file you have never seen. This was an early beta version that was probably, I've got the early beta of this file and the final version of this file. The final version of this file is nowhere near. It's prettier. It's like Nick got a hold of it. It's really pretty, but a lot of the essential nuts and bolts and elements have been trimmed out, which sucks, right? So I'd rather have a basic plain Jane solution with more deep detail as opposed to something that's really pretty, right? I like deep detail. So let's talk about these functions. So we'll just bring them up real quick, Margaret. These are the encryption functions. So if you want to go to the data viewer and we can look at the functions now and bring that up. So these are these functions that are in here. Okay. And we're going to talk about the top about 10 of these things or so, but we're going to use this sample file, which I think was created by Andy Lacates and the SEs. This is a FileMaker 16 sample file. It's also, like I said, a beta version that's never been released to the public, but I'm going to let you have it because I think it's really helpful. So go ahead and close out of that, Margaret. Let's go to the sample file. Take a look at this. So what Claris did, so let's talk about encryption. When you encrypt a FileMaker, there's different levels of encryption for different places in the world of FileMaker. If you have FileMaker that's talking across the network, we say across the wire, the signal goes across the wire, that's an SSL encryption certificate on the FileMaker server. The FMP12 file can be encrypted by going to the ear, encryption at rest, right? So that we talked about that in another video I had where people were getting nervous about, someone hacking their files. So encryption at rest is how you secure an FMP12 file that you can't guarantee physical possession to. So if the FMP12 file is on the server and no one else can get to that server, and they can't get to the server, and you're pretty secure, you don't really have to encrypt that file, encryption at rest. But if there's any chance that someone could actually get that FMP12 file, like on your desktop, Margaret, where it says .fmp up there, if it had secret stuff in it and they could get that file, then you want to make sure it's encrypted at rest, so that base file is encrypted. So you have SSL, you have encryption at rest, ear, and then the third encryption is where you can encrypt specific fields within the FileMaker platform, right? And you do it with these functions, right? So there's a bunch of different functions. We're going to talk through them. They're security functions called encryption, right? But basically the idea is that you're going to, if you go forward here, you've got encrypt data and de-encrypt data. And so go back for a second before we do the base 64 one. The result is a container. So that's why it's kind of in the container section. This has nothing to do with containers. So if you encrypt some text, the text where it says data right there, if you encrypt that text, and you're going to see this demo here momentarily, if you encrypt it, you get this container that has a bunch of scrambled stuff in it, right? The key is the secret key that you have, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or something like that, whatever is really interesting. Decrypt is the reverse of that. It returns the text. Understand there's a reference in here to runtimes. Runtimes have been removed from the platform. It is case sensitive. So once you're dealing with encryption, we talked a little bit yesterday, I think it was yesterday, about indexing, big A's, little A's, things like that. Those All that simplicity and stuff. When you got encryption, that's like serious stuff. All that kung fu comes into play. So it's case sensitive, very much so. Encrypt data is stored in the file. Encrypted data is stored in a container. If we go to the next slide to the right, this is where you say encrypt and you do base 64. So this makes more sense to most people. It's where it encrypts the data and then out comes a scramble block of text. Hit the I button there next to it, Margaret, the little right. Yeah, hit that. Okay. Returns base 64 text, follows the various format, whatever RFC 2648 or whatever that was. The idea is that this gets out. So it takes the text, scrambles, it gives it back to you. I think they do the container because it's more compact. It's easier to manage. I think when they encrypt the data, it becomes a lot bigger. It doesn't become smaller. It becomes bigger. And so it's easier to manage that in the container. I think so. Like if you had one sentence of text, in fact, we'll probably do a demo on this, but I think the base 64 makes it a lot bigger, right? So that's that part of it. So let's write the next slide here real quick. Here we go. So this is the first one, right? So you have, if you want to go ahead and clear out, Margaret, just clear that out, hit delete. Go up in the field A and just type some stuff in here. Like, hi, I'm Margaret, and I love cats, blah, blah, whatever. And Bella is the cat that Margaret's cat's a menace. So what we're going to do is we're going to, they're getting cute with that. Just hit that real quick. Enter the password to decrypt this file. I don't think so. Hit go. To encrypt it or decrypt it? Is it said encrypt or decrypt? Okay, where we deleted it. Yeah, that was probably not the greatest thing. Hit 0 to reset the lock icon. Hit enter 0. Yeah, we need to reset that.
Okay, so yeah, 0.
I'm trying to reset the demo and it's doing stupid stuff. Click in. Okay, here we go. Just type something in and then hit lock. Okay, here's your password. 1234. Hit it go.
Hold on. I don't know if I actually typed 4. There we go. Go.
Okay, hit go. It dumps it. And so it scrambled the data and it puts it into that the encrypted.data. Then, well, you can export it. Go ahead and export it.
I'm curious what it looks like.
Okay, stick it into a text editor at desktop. Yeah, good one, Margaret. Okay, then right click it and see if it'll open. Hit cancel. Right click and see open with
text editor.
Yeah, open with that. Yeah. So yeah, it's a bunch of kung fu. Notice it's a lot bigger. Okay, so go ahead and close that. And then what you could do is then you can hit the lock button. It's going to run the decrypt function, which is the opposite function. So we're going to give you a sample file. You can play with this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it unwinds it with that key. Okay, so pretty basic stuff. Next demo, Margaret. So this is the same demo, but now go ahead and clear that stuff out of that text in there, Margaret, and put a sentence in there. Just give me
0. Yeah, okay, yeah.
I think it's set. Go ahead and do it. Give me a sentence. We'll see how many characters that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Okay, hit lock. This will give you the same thing, only kind of a text deal. Put your key in. See how much bigger that is? So that's why they're defaulting to wanting to use containers, because they're a little bit easier to manage if you start locking up a lot of data. Now, between you, me, and the wall, what data would you lock? Whoa, we're going to lock everything. Now, why don't you think about locking like a credit card number? You're not supposed to put credit card numbers in your database, but if you did, or if you had personal identify, like if I had Larry the Marine's, service record, where he was a dedicated sniper and it confirmed 85 kills in the sandbox, that would all be part of his jacket, as we say in the business, but that might be redacted out. So the number of enemy kills he had might be classified, right? But you wouldn't classify the whole thing because, why, right? You just want to classify the essential, maybe Larry's last name or his social security number or his, all this DD-214 information for those in the military, is your discharge paperwork. So do we have Larry, by the way, Margaret?
Larry is here, yes.
Larry
I
is
was
here.
Just thinking off the top of my head, social security numbers, if you have those of your employees or something like that.
Yeah. If you have that in there, that should be encrypted. So these are things that where if someone is able, so go ahead, Margaret, I want you to go right here and do a file. So someone says, haha, I have access to your file. I'm going to hit file. I'm going to hit export. I'm going to export all your data. Go down.
Oh, like export this? Or...
No. File and just dump the whole enchilada.
Oh, right? Export records. Okay.
Yeah, there we go. Desktop. Yeah, do that. and then it's going to say just move all of it, move all, hit export. So there, it's in that tab file. So move that now, right click and open that tab file in your tab. And there you go. So what you're going to see.
That's the only record, I think. So.
Oh, you know what it is? So that was the, but if you had other fields in, you'd have other fields that would say normal things like.
Yeah,
you know,
like, well, we can do that real fast.
Just define a field and put.
Can I add fields in here? You should be. No, okay, they make it. No, there it is. There's the button.
Add a field, call it
Name.
Larry's. Yeah,
Oh.
name. There put, there we go. And is
Larry.
there we go. Now put those two fields in there, put some data in there, then add those as part of the export browse mode market.
Oh, it's right
They're
there.
already there. Dude, they're there. Okay. Dude, they're there. There we go.
I'm gonna put them
try
over
that.
here. Boop.
All right, Margaret. There we go. She's doing
I'm working on it. Sorry.
She's going. All right, so put some data.
Oh, interesting. Oh, it's
going.
slide control. I see. So, hello.
You want to go to the base 64 one though. Go to the base 64 one.
Okay, so.
Yeah, that one.
No,
so they're not here.
Is this the base 64?
That's the one. Yeah, we want to do
not.
the.
No, base 64 is this one right here.
Okay, so go to layout. It's the middle tab control. Put the fields on there. One more time. Make sure they're on here. Go to browse. Put some data in there. Okay, so we got that. Now go and do your export, Margaret. That way they can see. So if someone gets into your file, they're gonna see this, right? Go ahead and just replace that. It'll say okay.
Yeah.
Hit okay.
Okay.
So replace.
Save. Place.
Then right.
Move
Move it. All export. Reopen. Right click to text. Perfect. Yes. So so then you start seeing real data in there, right? So then when you run into that encrypted stuff, you get that string. So they can't do anything with it. So once again, this is a good example. If someone gets into the file and say they're like Larry goes to the bathroom, right? He has his database open. He's in enemy territory behind enemy lines. He goes to the bathroom. Al-Qaeda or Hamas grabs his iPad and does an export on it. Okay. They wouldn't be able to do with the encrypted data because they can't break that without a supercomputer and the NSA. And then I wouldn't put it past, probably they could get into it. But once again, normal humans, terrorists, things like that, for the most part, can't get into it. I think the Brits could get into it, probably the French, any of the countries that have really good cryptographic people in their government agencies. But that's the whole point of this. So let's continue on, Margaret. You want to close that? So, Margaret, you learning new stuff today? Is this new for you?
I am.
Yeah. Yep, cool. So hash functions. So what is a hash? Hash is, if I could say, make an abbreviation of some text. So say like someone has a paragraph of text or a page of text. You can create a hash of that, which is a unique reference, or it represents that uniquely, Margaret. So the idea is that you could actually, the idea is to compare two blocks of text, something like that. So you have hash of your page, then you create a hash of the page again a day later. You can compare the two hashes. They're smaller, and they will change if the content has changed. That makes sense? That's kind of what a hash is.
That makes sense. It sounds like almost like a bit.ly version of a link.
Yeah, bring up wiki on hash. Let's see what they say about a hash. A cryptographic hash, or just say hash, is a algorithm of arbitrary stuff with a fixed size that basically it precisely represents. So zoom in on that graphic. Click on that graphic right there on the right. Just click on that. Oh, there we go. So the input is Fox. You run it through a hash, and the shit on the right comes out. You input the stuff on the second line. The red fox jumps over the blue dog. You run through a hash, right? Now the next one to that is spelled slightly differently, but the hash changes, right? So you see each of these results in a digest hash. That's what this hash is about. So you can kick this out without kicking out the password. So in FileMaker, so this is an inside baseball thing inside FileMaker. When they save the passwords in the FileMaker file, the passwords are not like, if I use the password 1234 as so Richard Carlton, and then the password's 1234, they don't save 1234 as the password. They save it as a hash. So even if someone can get it, they only have the hash. They don't know what text created the hash. Does that make sense, Margaret?
Yes,
so if I put 1234 on the left, FileMaker goes, it converts it into hash, and that is their internal hash that is used. So makes sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. So.
Perfect. So that is what this part's about. It's ability for you to generate hashes and do what you need to do. to protect your data. So any questions from anyone about the cryptographic functions, the difference with the base 64 and not, and then the if you go back to the thing, you'll see the hash functions real quick.
Does it matter which one you use, or is it kind of pick the one that you feel you want?
Well, hash is very different than encryption, right? Generally the hash doesn't reverse itself out. Okay. You can't dehash. Hash is a one way. It's like putting a pig through the sausage factory. If you decide, or the pig decides it doesn't want to do that, but it's already gone through the process of becoming sausage, there's no Command Z on that process to undo the sausage into a pig. Does that make sense what I said? That's a one-way, only a one-way process, right?
That makes sense.
Whereas the encryption is like you can beam it either way, and it's not destructive. It's not supposed to be destructive. The hash is destructive, generally.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Code to Go said something interesting because I mentioned Bitly earlier. Marg's great analogy. Bitly uses a hash value generated from the original URL. So Bitly uses hash to shorten their URLs.
So the hashes allow you to shorten things up as long as you can kind of extract. Well, and that's what, Bitly is a hash, but it goes to them and then it looks up the hash and then it converts it. Somehow it does a lookup or something with them and it directs it to the correct URL. Because at the end of the day, the original URL has to be reproducible, right? So if you give people a Bitly that's 551322, and that's the entire thing, and that goes to rcconsulting.com/Margaret/index.html, it has to be able to take that hash and convert it. So there's probably a lookup table at Bitly. It gets that hash and it looks it up in their little database and it goes, okay, that means this. So it's not decrypting the hash, if that makes sense.
No, it's not undoing the hash. It's aligning the hash to something in a backend database, basically.
It's looking it up to see what all it is like and they do a hash so people can't try to guess them, because otherwise, really, all you need is a serial number. Like, okay, well, Bitly from the dawn of time, they started at Bitly number 1, and then Bitly number 2.
So you could just work your way through the serial numbers.
Yeah. But if it's a hash, it's kind of kung fu, it's semi-stealthy, and so it's not super obvious to what you're up to. Does that make sense? So It's kind of what they call security by obscurity, by hiding in plain sight. But the hashes are pretty small, so you could, you've had hashes are 6 or 7 characters, 8 characters. There's lots of, you could have a supercomputer that would pump those and hit those against the Bitly server to see what came out. Right, you could basically end up dumping all the Bitlys out if you could do that enough. But interesting, right? So that's what the hashes are, Margaret. Other questions?
An interesting question. If Bitly servers go down, would that mean that all those links would break for that time?
Correct. Yeah, until it comes back up. But here's the deal: we're so interdependent upon the internet now. If the internet ever goes out for more than 4 or 5 hours, with a storm or something, we had that back in California yesterday, the day before, but. People, people go on vacation, right? There is no internet. Unless you have a job where you're wrenching on a vehicle or doing a manual labor thing or something, wrenching on something that doesn't really have a lot of computer stuff. But all the parts, everything that runs the economy is driven by internet orders and driving directions and shipping and transfer of funds to pay for the stuff that's in the shipping in the truck. So if Bitly goes down, that's not really good for whoever's using Bitly, including RCC. So, next tab.
What does this do, though? This one hashes it, and then this one does what?
Algorithm, the name of the cryptographic algorithm. Let's see. So, data is any expression. Algorithm is the name of the algorithm. All right, why don't we go to the right? It'll let you play with it. Go to the right. All right, so go at the top and put a value like Margaret, blah, 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 whatever is your thing you want to encrypt, right?
Yep. Margaret. Okay, then
click that to clear. Then click create hash. It creates the hash as once again, you could base 64 that. Okay. Go ahead, but that's fine.
I just want to see what it looks like because I'm nosy.
See, that's what happens when you turn your daughter into a FileMaker developer. She wants to get in and stick her nose under the hood. So there's your hash of stuff.
Okay. Got it.
Mm-hmm. So then down below, so remember I said it's a one-way pig processing thing, right? It might taste good, but you better be really sure you want the pig to turn into sausage because there's no undo on it. So go ahead and enter a value into the field, and then hit that next button down there and see what it does.
Oh,
Authentic.
because
Oh,
I
is it?
didn't enter the same word. So what happens if I enter the same word? Ah,
So what it does is it does a match to determine it's still good because it's checking the hash of the top one against the hash that it just created of the bottom one. Does that make sense? Because
yes,
remember,
that
Margaret,
makes
the
sense.
top's gone, right? Otherwise, I just compare Margaret to Margaret. But the idea is to do a one-way hash. Then you do a bottom one-way hash and you compare them together. Go to the next tab over on the right, Margaret. I think this is the last one for now. I hit that button right there. Jump to, okay, here we go. So in this example, we're going to create a list of data, compare the digital hash quickly to a flag field, blah, blah, blah. So you're getting all you're getting a sample file. This is a little bit more involved here. We can run through this. So you can hash the field data. So hit the first button there, number one, hit the first button, ding, ding. Okay. Okay. View results, I guess, is the next button. Hit that, ding, ding. So this shows you that there's the customer, there's the manager's address, there's the hashes for each one. There's a discussion down below. Okay. Now click out of that card or X the card at the top. So now run the script below to change various values. So you're changing some of the data behind the scenes. That's back there behind. Interesting how they're using a card. The behind there is the sample data you're playing with to kind of let you see it, but you're not really directly touching it because with a card, you've kind of locked it out in terms of your user interface. But the script can still go in there and monkey with it. So go ahead and hit change record.
Oh.
Now, did you see something change? Yeah.
It was changing up here. Like if I click that again.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So now you say compare the customer hash, right? Boop, boop.
No data was changed.
Okay. Compare the manager hash. The data was changed. Compare the address hash. Okay. So change it. Try it again. Change the data number 2, Margaret. There you go.
It keeps settling on Rosemary, and I guarantee it was stuck on Rosemary to begin with.
At the beginning, yeah. So I'm wondering what that's about. So close that. If it'll let you.
Change it to.
Yeah, just change it to like something. This doesn't matter, Margaret. Whatever. Okay, now go back to.
How do I bring up the card again? I guess I'd have to go back to the file.
Go to the layout. No. Go to your pop layout.
Oh, this thing. Yes.
Yes, thank you. Oh, of course. There you go. Yeah, go there. And then hit that. There we go. So now,
let's hash the field data. We have to do.
No, we already did that.
Because we did it with the old one, which is why we had to fix it, right? Because we did it with Rosemary, which means if we change it, then nothing will have to change. So we hash field data.
All right. So you can try that, see if it'll work. Do that one, then do the one the next. View results. No. View results. So
there's
Marg. And Marg's in there now. Go to change record.
Rosemary.
Now it's back to Rosemary. Now compare the customer hash. Customer
hasn't changed. We didn't.
That's the manager column, right? Click that one. There we go.
Data has changed. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. So it doesn't tell you necessarily exactly, or it could do it on a field level or a record level. But the idea is that it's a one-way hash and you could do a comparison. So once again, this is kind of a little more advanced feature for everyone, but it's good to know, especially the encryption, decryption stuff. Once again, the hash is a one-way pig processing moment.
There's no undo button.
Yeah, there's no undo button on the sausage. If you go to the store and you see an undo button, before you press it, get out your iPhone and take a video for me because I want to see what happens. Other questions we have, because we don't have to go super long. I know it's a little short today, but.
Nope, I don't see it. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry about it being short, but Mark, please take a moment and distribute this file to everyone.
I did link. Let me know if the file doesn't work. I haven't heard any screaming, so I assume it works.
Yeah, add this to your repository of important things to have when you get asked about can we encrypt the data. So, okay.
Cool. All right, everyone have a lovely day. We will see you tomorrow with exciting information.
It will be exciting.
Have a good one, everybody.
report of an individual up here who may be a FileMaker license. Well, it's potentially expired. Look at the back of that car right there. Looks like the FileMaker license has expired. Sir, I need you to step out of the vehicle. Sir, step out of the vehicle. Sir.